Mwah. Welcome in, you guys. I'm your host, Andrea, with From Mrs. to Ms. She's back. Welcome, my delicious friend, Michelle, back to From Mrs. to Ms. I'm always so happy to have you. We're going to shoot the shit today. We're going to tell you what has been up for us in the past and what we're looking forward to in 2025. Talk a little bit New Year's resolutions, and we're going to skip right on to dating, sex, everything good, right? That's the plan. Hi.
I heard took a back seat after I dropped off the podcast.
I'm like, we're going to put the sex on the side until she comes back.
Oh,
because nobody's daring enough to go there with me. But
that was a long hiatus. No sex.
Maybe we just didn't have any sex to talk about. Maybe that's it. Nope.
That's true, actually. Yeah. Probably going for the lack of sex for 4 weeks.
It's great, isn't it?
I had sex a few days ago.
You did? All right, we're going to jump into that in a minute. Okay, we're going to start just because it is the new year. This is our New Year's episode. This is coming the week of New Year's, starting tomorrow is going to be January 1st when this comes out. And so we're going to talk real quick about 2025 New Year's resolutions. I want to hear yours. And then I want to tell you about 2 good questions that I heard are great to ask for relationships going into 2025. I already did it this morning. I wrote it out, so I'm feeling good. So, do you have New Year's resolution?
I don't do resolutions. I think they're bullshit. But I do have a wish for myself. So, I mean, you can do it as a New Year's resolution. I've decided I want to take better care of my body. So I actually saw a hormone doctor and I just started taking hormones, and I just want to age gracefully. And I just turned 50, 2 months ago. So it's time to really take care of me. So for me, I always take care of everyone else first. And so for me, it was like, okay, 2025 wasn't so much the year. I started a couple months ago, but it was just time for me to go, what do I need? So just a question, what do I need? Have you asked yourself what would bring joy to you today? Or what do you need today?
So. I love that. Okay, so first of all, welcome to the 50 Club. It's about damn time you caught up.
I am feeling.
Secondly, okay, so have you already hit menopause? Are you going through menopause? Are you in perimenopause?
My doctor didn't really say what I was in, but basically she made it sound like I was already through it or in it. So not perimenopause. Like she basically said my testosterone was at a nil, my estrogen was at a nil, my progesterone was at a nil, my cortisone was, 3 times the max, which is great. Have no fight or flight issues here.
Okay.
So no, it's you should see the gamut I'm on. God, we found out that my thyroid wasn't behaving well, and women out there, a lot of women don't realize this. Normally doctors don't test your thyroid unless you're overweight. A lot of overweight or thinner people can also have hypothyroid issues. So I guess I glowed on hypothyroid, not hypo, and then all my hormone levels. So I have like 5 things I'm on that I started 2 weeks ago.
And that's okay. So I totally get what you mean with the thyroid. I actually had hyper, which is the better one to have years ago, which was great. It was right in time for my wedding many, many years ago. So I lost a lot of weight, but I was super moody. But other than that,
your husband-to-be was grateful for the moodiness.
I'm sure he was. But I cannot do any hormone stuff. I had a blood clot in my leg when I had some surgery done back in 2012. I know it was directly related to that. I was supposed to get up and walk around with compression socks and all that, and I just didn't do what I was supposed to do. So I did get a blood clot. So they haven't really been wanting to put me on any hormone things. And I got to try to convince them it was an isolated event from that surgery.
Well, I don't want to do too, right? Like I was referred to a specialist in the U.S. who also has her medical license in Canada. So the nice part is she work in the U.S. and Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, but in Canada here, we don't actually blood test for a lot of hormone replacement therapies.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go through the States and then get it imported to Canada. Yeah. So
Oh my
But
goodness.
she has a company that's all about anti-aging. So it's everything from checking your inflammation levels,
Yeah.
your sugar levels, all the important things that do create aging.
Mm. Yeah.
Or at least speed up aging, I should say. We're
Yeah.
aging no matter what, but yeah. So
Yeah.
it's an interesting journey, but I think it's more about just me going like, what do I need today? Instead of
Yeah.
going, okay, work comes first. At 50, I've done my job for so long. No, I need to know what I need. So anyways, what
Yeah.
about you? New Year's resolution?
New Year's resolution, all of that to really get myself in the healthiest shape I've ever been in. Really focusing physically on my workouts and making sure I'm drinking water. I'm terrible about drinking water. So I'm going to,
2 glasses a day, if that. I suck at it.
it's terrible, right? So I'm
What?
trying to do that.
Tastes gross.
It is gross. I try to put a little Crystal Light in it or something just to give it a little oomph. So doing that, getting in my steps and then doing my workouts 3 times a week. So really focusing on that. And then I'm just focusing on my future plan for this year with the podcast, where I want to see that go. I'm going to be really specific in my vision board this year about where I want to see the podcast go. My guests have been like stellar, present company included. And so I'm really excited about what I have coming for the new year and some real fun things in the works. So I'm excited about that. And I'm kind of putting men a little bit on the back burner. I say a little bit because
it's about time. Woo!
we'll see. It's not even January 1st as of yet. So we'll see if this actually follows through. But I am just in such a better place mentally about men, emotionally about, just about myself too, and where I'm at and my independence. And I love it. I love it. So I am in the I don't need a man phase, and I love it.
I've been waiting for you to get there for over a year. I was the anti-men zone like over a year and a half ago. And
hard. You were like, men suck. Men are idiots.
I shouldn't say men suck. I think the problem is that men have lost their way.
Yeah.
We have become so much braver, stronger. We are, using our intelligence at a different level. We are striving for big things. We take care of kids. We now run companies. We clean, we nurture. Men, they used to come home and read the newspaper after they work. Guess what? They still do the same fucking thing. They haven't evolved. That's the problem. The new men haven't evolved. Now, the new generations are evolving. Like the 20s, they are. I'm seeing a huge shift in the 20-year-old men. Okay. But anything beyond 30, those men were raised by, or at least 35 plus, those men that would come home, read the newspaper, and just be ignorant to everything going on.
Yeah.
So
I just we should date in the 20s now.
Sure. Start dating in the 20s. I'm disappointed. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm really disappointed with the opposite sex. For one, they've stopped making us feel safe. They've stopped courting us. They've stopped making us feel special. So now we get to make ourselves feel special.
Yeah.
We clean the house, run the companies. And what are they doing? Seriously, what are they providing at this state and age? What?
I mean,
I should say.
Yeah, companionship. I mean, there's those few things, right?
Hold on.
Like to have a man.
Men create companionship. I think women forget that most of our companionship comes from our girlfriends.
Yes.
From men. But if we truly look at what we do when we spend time with our men, we tend to put them on a pedestal. We fuck them. We feed them. What are they giving us? Well, but I'm just saying, women have evolved, men haven't. So men, fucking evolve. You're going to be put into the colonies, and us women are going to rule the world. Just telling you.
That's it. Well, my goal this year is to find those needles in the haystack, the ones that are still chivalrous, that are an actual good companion that you can have an intellectual conversation with. That has become one of my top things now.
Love that. But as we know, givers tend to date takers. So the shame is the good chivalrous men have been abused by unfortunate women.
Yeah.
And those men are now jaded. So I'm just noting the older we get, unless we date younger, those men have been broken so many times. It's kind of like going to Ross Dress for Less or TJ Maxx and like digging through the sale bin. Like they've just used a lot or tried on a lot. You know what I mean?
So what would change your mind on this, your opinion, or going into 2025? Are you just going to swear off all men, or what would change your opinion?
Someone right now, but I'm, again, like he's a very cool guy, but I have to say we had a bit of a blip you know, we just started seeing each other. We actually saw each other 7 years ago. And for some reason, it was so weird. We had 4 good dates and then he went quiet.
Okay.
He popped up again. And we went on a couple dates and everything was awesome. And, you know, we decided to start making out the other night. And it was the first time we had kissed. He pushed it all the way to the end. And I said to him, like, let's pace ourselves. Let's take our time. It's been 6, 7 years. I've been waiting for this. And like, and I'm going to get a little blunt here, ladies, for a minute, but I'm just going to be honest about what happened. You know, we're kissing. I hadn't seen him in a month between me getting this horrible flu and Christmas and holidays. We've texted and stuff. But for me as a woman, I need to have a date to reconnect after there's been a gap, especially like 2-3 weeks. So he starts saying things like, well, you're the one rubbing yourself against my cock. Like, I was just sitting on because he was sitting on me. It wasn't like we were just taking turns of hanging out and being playful.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, he pushes it. And, you know, next thing you know, we're naked. And next thing you know, things are happening. And I just, because I've known him a long time, I felt safe still letting that happen.
Yeah.
But still, I expressed probably 4 or 5 times, like, let's hold on, let's wait. Like, there's no rush. And I'm sorry, but in a court of law, this doesn't do well for this man. So I'm not going to press charges. I like the guy, but I'm just saying, why couldn't he listen?
Yeah.
Why couldn't he just wait? Could he not just wait 1 more week, 2 more weeks? Was it going to fall off if he didn't wait 1 or 2 more weeks? Like, where's the rush?
Okay, so I have a couple of questions. So did you have sex 7 years ago when you were together?
No, never did.
No, so you've never done it before. Okay, so this was your first time. So, and now you've dated how many times? You said a couple, a few, 3?
Oh, we went out once, and then he met me. Technically, I've seen him 3 times.
Yeah.
1 date. Then one time he met me after an event with a girlfriend for an hour. And then I met him with a friend for an hour. And then this was our technically second date. Like, let's slow it all down.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Yeah. I guess that is the question. Like, why the rush? What is going to change? Like that you have to have it right now instead of waiting till you're comfortable, till you say you want to have it, or till an appropriate time.
Yeah, well, I have to say, like, for me, I understand it was ego for him. Like, it has to all be ego. But for me, I was really excited about this guy. And I have to say that night I went home and I really have to understand that he did not hear me. He didn't listen to me. So what does that mean for the future? So when you went on the dial back and you said, what would change my opinion of men? Me seeing men treat my friends differently. Because I have incredible friends like you. And incredible friends that are smart and wonderful and kind and physical. The proof is in the pudding. Show us. Words mean nothing. Actions are everything. So I think for me, I'm just looking for men to prove me wrong. And so far, they have not. So, and I'm talking about all walks of life, all ages. And I know I'm coming across very bitter and I didn't mean to come across. I think it's just knowing that I was going to talk to you today and knowing that this just happened a few days ago.
Yeah.
I think it was just something that I wanted to bring up is, you know, women listening, I really need men to hear us. If we say, hey, I need you to hang on, or, hey, I even said to him, something really bad happened a few years ago and I need to take it slow. Like that should have really stopped him.
Totally.
And it didn't.
Did he react to that at all when you told that story?
Just for a minute, and then kept pushing the envelope, trying to take my clothes off. So even if I see him again, he's already lost a lot of points in my mind. Yeah. And I know it sounds weird when people are like, but you slept with him. You went ahead. Like, but I probably shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And that's on me.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to ask you. Is that like a deal breaker for you? Will you see him again? Do you have interest to see him again? Or are you worried? And also once you do that, now it's the expectation every time. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, right?
Well, so and I also asked him to wear a condom and he wouldn't. So, you know, you just kind of, so now every day, I know it sounds crazy, but every day I'm looking between my legs, making sure I'm feeling fine. Because I mean, you know, again, why are we making ourselves so vulnerable? Yeah. So right now I'm just feeling a little sad this week. But I feel like, you know, I was trying to see men as being in a different light, but I mean, the stories my girlfriends are telling me right now.
Yeah, it's rough.
Really hard. And we're talking about girlfriends that are hopeless romantics.
Yeah.
Including myself. I know I don't act like one. I'm not sounding like one. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to touch base on what you just talked about with the condom situation, because that is like, okay, I want to talk about that real quick. I think we've actually talked about this before in the past, but like how to approach that with a man when you are in the throes of it. You're in the heat of the moment. How do you handle that? Do you just say, like, what did you say to him?
I said, well, I think
Cover that shit up. You said
I
what?
said, time to grab a condom.
Okay.
Because condoms, both of us don't really have partners. And I'm thinking like,
how do you know?
Well, and the sad part is too, I mean, there's way more to the story, which we need to dial back in a minute, but we will.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the fact of like, why should I risk my health?
Yeah.
What are you giving me to prove that you're okay? And like, I get checkups all the time. And what's really sad is one of my girlfriend's old policies used to be that until the guys had blood tests proving that they were good in all areas, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Because of course, as you know, like you can do swabs for most things, but herpes, you have to have a blood test and you have to test for the right simplex because one is of the lip and two is down below.
Yeah. And 85% do have
100%. And you have to pay for that difference because it's a lot more complicated to test for two.
One. I'm good.
Yes, I've done it 3 times. In Canada, $250 to test this. So, you know, part of me wants to be like, I think if and when I see him again, which I'm sure I will next week when he's back in town, I'll say, hey, listen, like, how do I know you're okay?
Yeah. And will you have the conversation with him about what went down with the sex? Or did you before you left? Did you?
No. It was so late. By the time I left, it was one of those, it's holidays and to get an Uber, it took forever. I wasn't even home till 1:30 in the morning.
Was it good?
No, that's the word.
You're so quick to answer. Nope. Sure was not good.
Well, and the worst part is he's such a good kisser and we get along really well. And we had spent dinner talking and he was talking about me using his condo because my apartment word sounds like something else. Sounds like condom, which he didn't like to use. Okay.
He used it.
Week in my kitchen. Happy Christmas to me. My ceiling's starting to come down. He offered me to use his apartment if they started drilling through my ceiling this week. And I thought that was super sweet of him. So he was describing his condo, which I've seen, but he starts saying, oh, I have this really nice deck. I said, you have a deck? He's like, well, it's not a big deck. And then he kind of meant like, well, it's more like medium size, but it's enough. Like we kind of, that deck conversation, I realized he went from his patio description to talking about his manhood.
Okay, deck to deck.
You know, dirty comments start coming out like, oh, I've waited so long and I think it's going to be amazing with you and da-da-da-da-da. And I have this policy of like, I don't like to talk about sex before having sex.
Yeah.
Because he was all about the whole like, oh, I like to go down there for hours and I can get a woman off, blah, 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 blah. So, you know, at least with everything that went wrong on this date, I was like, well, at least it should be good, even though he's pushed the envelope, because I was already kind of a little locked up because I didn't really want to push it this far. Okay. And then nothing that he described happened.
This sounds dreadful, yet you are saying when he gets back next week, you're going to want to see him again. This doesn't sound
we get along really well. Like we get along fabulously. There's a lot of banter. The kissing's great. I personally think he knew he was pushing sex early. He had a lot to drink. I don't know, but I do need to have a conversation with him. Either way, sorry, I'm going to be one of those girls. If I go see him, I'll be like, hey, we got to chat about this a little bit. Like, I know you heard me. I know you heard me say, hey, we're going to take it slow. I need you to take it slow. Yes. And I think why the urgency.
Yeah.
And I hate to say this, but let's just say his soldier did not want to stand at command.
I love that you're going to have this conversation with them because I think we don't do that enough. We let it just be swept under the rug and then we complain about it. So I love that you're going to have that conversation as hard as it's probably going to be. I would think it's going to be very uncomfortable, but you know what? You were uncomfortable that night. So
yeah, you know me. If I didn't feel safe, I would have walked out the fucking door. I just wish he had waited.
I know.
What's the right?
It would have been better had he waited.
Oh, yes, because
he would have done all those things he described.
Maybe. don't know. I mean, the other thing is I know this is horrible. This poor guy, if he ever hears this, he's just gonna be destroyed.
So
I mean, he went downtown and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? He had so many things happening and it was so much emotion and like so aggressive. I'm like, what woman wants it hard right off the bat? Like, come on, warm us up slowly, then get hands involved and all the things. And
I'm not even a fan of that period. I'm really no, it doesn't do anything for me. That's your jam.
If the person knows what they're doing, it is amazing.
I don't know. I feel like I've had like moments where I'm like, okay, I can get it. And very quickly I get bored and I'm like, tap them on the head. Time to come up now. That's enough.
If you don't like it, why do they bother even trying? Like, why wouldn't you go?
They can change my opinion. They all think, oh, I'm going to be the one to get her off like this. I'm going to make her love this. Doesn't happen.
The problem is, so has no one ever made you get off down there?
Nope.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's the thing. Like, see, if someone did, like, so I was lucky at 18. I had a very talented boyfriend that and then married very young at not like almost 20. I married a 28-year-old who was a bit of a playboy. So I always knew it was good from very young on. I think if someone was trying to teach me now, I'd be like, just stop wasting your time down there. I'd be like, get on up. Like, I think the thing is with me is because I'm in control of so much of my life that when they're down there, I'm not in control. And if they know it's way more powerful.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm too caught up in my head for everything, all of it. I'm thinking about what I got to get done that day. I'm thinking about, I wonder what it tastes like. I'm thinking about.
Okay, so that's what I was going to go to. It means you're uncomfortable with them down there.
Yeah. I mean, I like 69. I will say that.
Yeah,
I don't know what. Yeah.
Stupid as fuck. Sorry.
I like it. I don't know why. I like that. The way we are, maybe that's it. I just don't like them just being down there. I don't know. It's just not my thing.
I'm telling you, if someone had gotten you off right, you would be like, spend your life down there.
Really? Because I hear that like people's knees clench up and their poor head is in there and they're just.
Yeah. If the guy knows what they're doing, those orgasms can be like the most intense I've ever had in my entire life.
Wow. Okay. So maybe challenge.
Normally not just the mouth. It's digits, the mouth, it's everything. You have to coordinate, know all your spots and like,
I did have one that was good. It was very, very good. It just didn't get me to that point, but it was still very good. It was probably the most I'd enjoyed it. But
that's like saying that, sex was good, but you've never come. Okay. If you'd never had an orgasm during sex,
right?
Would you still want to do it?
No.
Right. So that's what's happened is that has never been successful for you. So like, that's a waste of time. Get up here. Like, you know what I mean?
So I have a challenge this year is what you're saying.
I think one, you have locked off that you will never come from that way. Yeah. And I know I'm just being super blunt, but I think once we decide that's just a useless thing or why bother, it's like someone saying, I'm not going to succeed in business. You've already manifested it. You've already decided it's done. So I think my New Year's resolution for you is to have the most amazing orgasms from oral sex. There you go.
Add this to my vision board. Put 2 legs up with a head in between it.
So this is also what I think the problem is too, is men rush now, right? So like I'm going to use an old term, which I think is hilarious, dry humping. Let's say you're making out with some brand new guy and you've had 4 or 5 or 6 dates and so fun, right? Mm-hmm. And let's say you're super turned on. Mm-hmm. If he went down on you now and you knew you were already at a point where you were really feeling good about yourself, maybe that would be the time to start for the first time that you wanted to try that again. Yeah. Because I think if you're just going in cold and you've just come home from a dinner and some guy goes down on you and you're not even turned on at all, you're like, what are you doing down there? Like, I just think that's not setting you up for success. Does that make sense?
No, that's totally true. I think that's a good point. Because like I said, I love dry humping. I think it's totally underrated. I could almost do that for a very, very long time and get off that way. And then maybe that's what I need to do is really hold out on that part for a long time till I'm ready. Because they do. They rush it. They're like,
men wanting you to give blowjobs when they're soft.
Yeah. What's the point?
Soft. And he's like, go down. But it's not even like semi. It's like completely flaccid. Like, that's not fun.
And they want to try and let it grow within
my mouth. This is so fun.
Yeah, that is a big thing. Yeah. Okay. So I guess I need to try it. That's a good goal this year to try and figure out maybe, and that's working on me too. My mindset, getting out of that mental blockage, like you said, of like, okay, if it's not going to happen, why am I even bothering? So I need to be more open to it.
But that's also surrendering. People think a guy having you is surrendering. Actually, it's way more intimate for a man to be in your legs with his mouth. And I know I definitely shouldn't have gone this TMI on this episode.
Real. We didn't even have New Year's resolutions yet, and we're already down there. You're like, yep, that's true. Okay, so I'm going back to this guy with you. Okay, so you're going to have this conversation. And then are you expecting that you all are going to have sex again? What if it is not any better than it was the first time?
Well, I can't assume anything. Like at this point, I'm trying to sit with my own feelings of what happened. And I'm not an overthinker.
Yep.
But for me, I'm just disappointed with the fact that I had to say it numerous times, like, we need to hang tight.
That is it. It's the disappointment. Yep. It's a disappointment in them. And I think it takes away, we do tend to put them a little bit on a pedestal, I'm sure, because you've known him for all of these years before, and it was good before, and you're trying again, and that's exciting. And we kind of put them on this little pedestal, and then they do that, and it just gives you that, it's like that little red flag you didn't want to pop up, because then you wonder.
If you're not listening to me now, are you going to listen to me?
Yes, that is a great question. It's a great question.
Is what you want what only matters?
Yeah.
So I think it's hard when I think about dating and men. One of my girlfriends has decided she will only date men in their late 20s, and she's 54. And I thought that was insane. And then I realized she only makes 45,000 Canadian a year. So it's pretty much what they make too. So it's okay.
So
but someone
like
me that does quite well, I'm never going to see enough in a 28-year-old or a 35-year-old. I'm just
even
not
as evolved as they are.
100%. Doesn't matter.
Yep.
Like, I think the younger side maybe go is 40, like 10 years younger. But again, I think women are giving their bodies away too quickly. I think we're on this overdrive of trying to find someone to make us feel better or feel completed. I think it's all bullshit. We have to figure out what we need. We have to be the best we can be. Now, in that journey, if you meet someone who compliments you and brings you a better life, fabulous, date them. But until that point, what's the point? What's the point of us putting in these, right now, I could have gotten STD. Technically, my boundaries were pushed. Like, what benefit did I get from this night? I didn't even orgasm. So what did I get? No, seriously, what did I get other than a really nice dinner and a nice conversation?
Yeah, you didn't.
Right.
You didn't. And I wonder how he left feeling about the situation. Did he have any remorse?
I think he had the best time. And, he was hugging me and he's like, I can't wait to see you again. This is amazing. I wish you didn't have to leave. And I'm just like, I can't wait to leave. It's because I didn't want to spend time with him. I just felt like when I wasn't heard and that stuff happened, I needed some space. So anyways, what's your dating been since your breakup? Let's flip the
to me. Yeah, the breakup was crazy. But I'm going to be real careful in what I say there on that one, because I don't want to stir anything up. There was a lot of red flags throughout that particular relationship. And in hindsight, I wish I trusted my gut a little bit more. We don't tend to do that enough. We tend to overlook it. We're trying to push a square peg in a round hole, as we've said, and we hope, and we're banking on potential. And that happened many times throughout where I was out, I was done. And I'm like, this isn't the relationship for me. And there was this manipulation in my mind of, you are never going to find anybody that treats you better than me. You're never going to find anybody that loves you more than I do. And it does start fucking with you. And you start going, really? Am I not? And then you see them in action, which is also a manipulation with your family, your friends, and you see it happening. And you're like, God, maybe he's right. He's so good over here and he's so good over there. Because I told you specifically that I was out, I was done. And then I went and he met my family, right? And then it was I was like, oh, but he was so good with my family. And to me, it just felt like a total manipulation. And I wish I had just seen clearly through that, because I'd be in a different spot right now.
Have any of your relationships with girlfriends been shifted since you dated that man?
You and I think did a little bit. Yeah, we had a little bit of that. No, I mean, other than that, I just had them mostly supportive and listening to me. But, I think they started recognizing a little bit as well. A couple of my friends that were, they received gifts from him or certain things that they were like, oh, he's amazing, he's great. And then there were little things that they were like, ooh, something's off, something's not right. And now, of course, when I talk to them now, they're like, yeah, I see that. But hindsight's 2020, and you always felt it from the beginning. You tried
from the beginning, and I feel awful. And I know friends shouldn't impose their opinions on other people's relationships. I think I just saw some red flags that I had recognized in another relationship. And by the way, I also felt that your energy was different. When I saw you, when I visited LA, your energy was different. It's back. Like you're back. Yeah. But it's like anything. We don't realize that we're all energetic beings.
Yeah.
His energy is affecting you just like your children do, like our friendships do, what we watch on television, what music we listen to. We're energetic beings. So we don't realize that sometimes when we're in a relationship, even if we see some red flags in the beginning and we accept them, those red flags start to vanish. We don't notice them as much anymore.
Yep.
And we just become accustomed. And I think this is what I'm just worried about, as I just wish women would, I wish we'd treat ourselves like the goddesses we are. I wish we would give ourselves more time, more space, and not give away our bodies so fast, not give men so much control so quickly.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that there's not good guys out there. It doesn't mean that there's not great women. I mean, there's a lot of awful women, unfortunately, abusing men, just as much as men abusing women. So I'm not trying to just put it all on the men. I just feel like women have evolved. I'm not saying they're not mean. But I'm proud of you for sticking with your guns and coming through this and being on the other side. But I really know that if you spend more time with you, the next guy really has to show you who he is more before you accept him into your life.
Oh, 100%. And I am so grateful that if I took nothing else out of that relationship, I grew as a person, my independence, my self-esteem, my boundaries, everything that and not during, but I'm saying now looking back, I'm like, okay, I saw it happening as it went along, and to be able to come out on the other side, I'm so proud of myself in that situation, and I feel, I think that was a little bit, I was too independent for him. He didn't like that. He wanted me to need him and want him. And he had a very anxious attachment style, and I was very avoidant. And so it just was a bad mix. Yeah. So for me, I think I've really learned now, again, I don't need a man. I enjoy a man, but I absolutely enjoy sitting on my couch and eating what I want and watching what I want and coming and going as I please and not really having to answer to anybody. So I really love that. I love that.
Yeah, this is the thing. If you're in a healthy relationship, you shouldn't be answering to anyone. Do you know what I mean? They should just trust you. So if you meet a man that's like, where are you right now? What are you doing? Who are you with? And then they start FaceTiming you to guarantee what you're saying is the truth. You're in a messed up place. I think one of my favorite sayings is never go grocery shopping hungry.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So it's like when you go to the grocery store and you're hungry. If you're feeling like you're single, you're lonely, you're desperate, guess what? You're going to pick up a narcissist or a sociopath or something because you're hungry.
Yes.
Thing to be, interested in connecting with someone, but you have to make sure you're in a healthy space.
Yeah. So a girl has to eat.
Sure. But if you're not in a healthy place with your heart, your soul, your body, then you're most likely going to attract someone in the exact same space. They always say we attract what we're ready for.
Yeah.
I think the thing is, if you're hurting from a previous relationship, I'm talking about any woman listening, or that you're a little broken right now, or you're feeling a little insecure, work on yourself. Make yourself feel great, because guess what? The guys you're going to attract when you're feeling better are going to be so much more than the guys when you're broken.
That's so true. They say you attract the quality of man that you are inside. So when I raise my vibration and I get up there and I am this high quality woman, which I know that I am, that's what I'm going to attract, and I'm excited about that. I've been kind of, I put myself out there. I'm dabbling a little bit. I'm not really, I've gone out with one guy a few times. I like him very much. It's been very refreshing, I will
Hold
say.
on. Chimes. Come
No,
on, Andrea.
nada. We've only kissed.
Good
Yay! I'm so proud
job.
of myself. And I've been very clear and about wanting to move very slowly. We're just enjoying getting to know each other. We
At least
text.
he listened.
He listens. See, that's great. He has a lot of great qualities. He plans every date, and it's been wonderful. You know, a very nice restaurant. Doesn't have to be fancy for me. I mean, I don't need all that, but it's been very nice. Everything he is taller than me, so that counts. He's 5'11". He's 5'11". You know, he's not necessarily my normal type that I would go for, but I find him very attractive, and our conversations have been amazing. He's very intellectual, and that has been wonderful for me and very challenging for me. And I like that, you know, feels on a different level. That's all I'm going to say about that. Based on my last 2 relationships. So that's been good. He dresses very sharp. And every time I walk in the room, he stands up for me. He makes efforts. And I love that. And so we're just very clear on, I've not been to his house. We've just met out like 3 times for dates. Yeah. And there's no plan of that soon. We don't even talk about, which is something I want to talk about too. We don't even talk about sex. We don't talk about it.
You shouldn't.
Well, and I love that. But I used to always do that. And maybe it was like, I don't know, something in me wanted them to think I was game for it. You know, like I'm a cool chick because I'm willing to talk about sex in every situation. I am. I'm very open about sex, but I'm starting to really taper it back on a date. And also like communicating on the dating apps or text, you know, if they start going down that rabbit hole, I pull it out and I go a different route with it and I change it up. Many times in the last month, I have written something and delete and rewritten it, which has been just awesome because that to me is growth within myself.
Well, I put myself in an app and that's when this guy popped up again. And there was another guy that popped up from the States and we started chatting and he seemed fabulous. We even had a couple phone calls. And then I started noticing his messages changed. He went from this very kind, sweet guy to, I thought you were calling me later. I thought we're Zooming. I sat up waiting for your call. And like, we've never met. We've talked twice. And all of a sudden, all this pressure.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I'm sorry, we didn't make plans to talk tonight. I said, we could try. Like, if I say I'm going to be there, I will be there. Yeah. And if I need to cancel, that's very rare of me to do so, but I'll always send a message or call and say, look, it's not going to happen tonight or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I got this kind of rude message. So the next morning I woke up to this massive message. Like he probably spent an hour typing this thing. And it was just about how he needs someone with better communication skills. And obviously I don't care as much as he cares for me. And I'm thinking, hold the phone. So again, you have to look for signs that someone is in it because they are missing something. He needed something from me that he was not able to give himself. Mm-hmm. And I'm so grateful I found that very quickly. Instead of, I mean, my God, for us to go on a date, he'd have to drive 2 hours from the States and come up to Canada and vice versa. And I'm sorry, I don't even have that energy right now in my body, but I would for the right person.
Yeah.
The fact that all of that happened before we even physically met. Like we didn't even FaceTime.
Wow. Well, that is great that you were able to notice that. So did you just like cut it?
Because it was my first morning, my holiday, and I was so pissed that I was waking up to this. I had been super sick for 3 weeks. I actually got walking pneumonia. It was this horrible cold. I thought it was COVID. It turned into pneumonia. Everyone around me was sick. I was down for 3 weeks. I had no voice. And he was giving me a hard time about not like texting him and stuff like that. And I thought, oh my gosh, no. So when he sent this message, I said, look, you've made your decision. I'm not going to debate about this. You're obviously needing someone to fill or provide for you. And I'm just not in that space. Like I said something like that, like that, you know, and I just cut it off. I'm like, and he tried, and I said, I'm not about to debate how much we communicated and who was doing what. Because already he was very much he said, she said. And I'm like, So I just nipped it. I said, so all the best to you. And he goes, oh, I'm not trying to debate. Like, I'm still very much interested in you. And I said, no, you've already made your decision. You've made this very clear. Thank you so much for showing me who you are.
Wow.
No, it's hard, right? Dating is hard.
But what a learning tool for him right there. You know, hopefully.
But I think this is the thing. I think we have to be very honest with ourselves or what we are wanting from dating. Like, is it a physical connection? Is it emotional connection? Is it emotional and physical? Are you wanting some financial assistance? Are you not? Like, let's be honest. A lot of women ask, like this previous date that I just went on, supposedly on the third date, a lot of women are asking about going car shopping. I haven't heard that before, but I guess some women on the third date, when they've got a man excited, they're like, hey, we're going car shopping.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You know, if that's, you know, maybe you should go and
excited to get a second
mom instead of going on Hinge, but you know.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, it's a crazy world out there. And, you know, that's one thing I hate on the dating sites. I was talking to one of my guests, Erica Etten. She talks about profiles and the dating profiles. She reviews a lot of them that people are using on the apps. And we were talking about things that people put right in their bios. I can't stand it when a guy says in there, no
sugar babies.
Yep. Or I'm not. Yes. I'm not sure. What is it called? Daddy? I can't even think of the word. Sugar daddy. I guess sugar daddy, right? Mike, sugar daddy, no sugar babies. And for me, that's an immediate swipe left. Not because I want to be or think I am, but the fact that you are going to say that right off the bat, that already sets the precedence of the relationship.
You also know that he's also fallen for some of these women and is angry and jaded. So he's going to be showing you who he is.
Yes.
A lot of people ignore it. I see tons of hints in profiles. I think one of my favorites was my favorite negative thing was, oh, I won't date with anyone with anything fake. If you have breast implants.
I've seen that one.
Blah, blah. I have hair extensions. Well, I have hair extensions because I was on chemotherapy for years, so I don't have much hair.
Right.
I wouldn't know that. So to him, I'm materialistic bitch. But for me, I'm just healing.
That is such a great point. The same thing could apply for a breast augmentation that somebody has a double mastectomy. Yeah. No, I love that. I also saw one recently where a guy was very jaded on women, and he kept saying in there, especially American women, because I can't remember where he was from. I can't think of where he was from, but he said American women are very entitled, and I'm not here to. And I'm thinking, this is how you're going about your bio. So your bio is just basically blasting the women right up front, just letting them know where it's at. Who is swiping right? I don't know. And then they wonder why they're not getting any dates.
But women do. And that's a sad part. Again, if you are sitting at home lonely on a Saturday night and you decide to go on an app, you are going grocery shopping hungry. So fine. And I'm guilty of it. I know, but at least I know I'm guilty of it. Yeah. And when I'm doing it, my brain is going, you know what you're getting into. So be careful. But men do, and women show you who they are. They really do. They show it in text. They show it in their profiles online. They show it in the behavior with you. Yeah. It's up to you if you want to accept it, challenge them, or walk away. And listen, you know, we have to look at the fact that there are so many battles we have to do in a day, whether it's work, with our children, with our friends, whatever, you know, health problems with family members. Is this battle worth picking? Like, is this person worth going through something with, you know? So I don't know. I think women, we extend ourselves so much. We give so much of ourselves. Maybe 2025 is about bringing it back to us. And one of my favorite things is when you get up in the morning, you look in the mirror. First, you tell yourself you love you, which is weird. Okay, like I love you. I'm still trying to learn how to do it.
Yes,
but it is a strange thing. It should be so easy, but it's not. And then you say, "What do you need today? What do you need today?" Before you think about your to-do list, your work lists, your kid list, whatever's happening in your life. Yeah. What do you need? And it could be as simple as like, I'm going to cook breakfast before I check my emails, or I'm going to go for a walk. Go for the fucking walk.
Yes. No, I think it's all huge. And I think those are all great pointers and things that I've already started implementing is I don't pick up my phone until I have, number one, not my coffee, but number two, I sit down and I go through, I have a little prayer book that it's a daily thing that I'm really enjoying. And then I go through and kind of say that, what do I need today? What does my day look like? And I really kind of get in that headspace. I wouldn't say it's a meditation. I don't meditate well. I'm too like, what, you know, like all over the place, but
it's not meditate if we tried.
No, it's just not for us, but I do love that. And I will tell you, I had two questions that I said that I heard on another podcast of things that people should ask going into 2025. And I love both of them. And I wrote them both down.
You said something and I want to hit on it because we're dealing with a lot of women I know that are in their 40s and 50s on this that are listening. coffee in the morning.
Yes.
If you drink it within an hour of waking, you are doing something really bad to your cortisol levels. So the recommendation is don't have coffee till 45 minutes to an hour after waking. The reason is if you dump that on top of cortisol spikes are in the morning, especially with women going through perimenopause and menopause. So if you add coffee to that, guess what you do? You create fight or flight, anxiety. You also dehydrate yourself that you require 5 glasses of water after 1 cup of coffee. That's what they've proven. So you're also dehydrating yourself. You're screwing up your skin. So I just wanted to touch base of like,
I love that.
Like our coffee, but really do some research. I believe it's 45, like at least 30 minutes, but they prefer 45 to an hour after waking. Your cortisol levels have a chance to come down a bit, and then you can spike yourself up with your.
I love that. So do a glass of water first before.
Oh, yeah, always.
Totally
or even better, like lemon water.
Yeah.
Lemon revitalizes the liver. So if you can just crush a lemon every morning in a glass of tepid water, not ice cold, no ice cubes, people. There's no point. It's not going to absorb. I know you Americans love your ice cubes. You like everything cold. Yeah.
Because you're always in the cold. So you don't like it cold there.
Yeah.
But my first question is, it was very similar to what you said, that you should ask yourself, what do you want? And that can be in your relationship. It could be financially. It could be in a career. And then you say it 20 times, 20 different things, answering the question as what do you want? And it's amazing how when you start out, it seems like 20 things I'm going to have to come up with why I want this relationship or why I want this particular career. But it's
exhausting, 20 things.
It does. But I'm very
5. Let's be realistic. People are going to give up on day 1 of 2025 if they have to list 20 things.
Well, I should have given you 25 for 2025, but 20 is actually way more doable than you think. And it's just short little things. Why do I want this career? Because I need the money. Because I want to fulfill a need that I've always had inside me. It can be something very simple. And it's amazing as you're getting down to the 20, because I started doing it and I'm like, boom, 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 boom. I hardly hesitated. And then you start
on big decisions. Like, really, I'm talking about when you get up and you're like, I just need a cup of juice. You're not going to give yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You need
that. I'm talking about for 20.
I want to make sure listeners are like, but that's exhausting. Who's going to want to do that? No.
Every day. And this is not an everyday. Yours is an everyday. What do I need today? Mine is going in.
Listen.
Yes. Mine's going into 2025. What do I need? And I did it for both my career and a relationship. And I started to go, oh, yeah, why do I need a relationship so bad? When I'm looking at these things and I start clearing up going, hey, you know what? I really don't need those particular things. So that was I enjoyed doing it actually. And I hit my 20 like that. So that was really good. My second thing that I also did that they said is to talk to your future self and ask your future self a question. So you want to pretend like you are already there. So you're going to say, how did it feel when you met the love of your life? How did it feel when you got that job that you always wanted? And you can be very specific, how does it feel when you met your husband that you're now married to and living wherever? And so you are manifesting this and you're putting it out there in the future that this is what's going to happen, but you're acting like it's already happening for you. And that's a big thing with manifesting. I'm big on manifesting right now.
One of my favorite authors, Gabrielle Bernstein, says it.
Oh, that's weird. I just did her this morning.
Their process.
Yes, I'm doing her manifestation.
Your future self. It's about, okay, let's say you're in a moment where you're not okay. Let's say over Christmas, you had a moment where you were just sad and you were quiet, because we all have those moments. We think Christmas is going to be beautiful and easy and so full of joy. And we can have a moment where we're like, wow, I'm feeling low all of a sudden. Or maybe all the presents are open, or someone didn't show for dinner, or the turkey didn't turn out. And, you're feeling low. Let's just use that as an example. Gabrielle Bernstein says, when you're in a moment where you don't love your feeling, feel what you want to feel. So let's say I'm just this morning, I'm missing my dad. My dad passed away this year. It was my first Christmas without him. I don't want to cry. So I'm not going to get into it. Gabrielle will say, okay, think of yourself somewhere that would make you really happy. Like, so instead I'll visualize myself sitting on the beach in Cabo at this particular hotel, which is a private little beach. And you let that image and feeling, even try to smell it, try to feel it, let it rush through your body. It's immediate. You will literally change how you feel within seconds. So it's bringing that joy into your body. So I think the simpler way is instead of talking to your future self, which I'm sorry, I love this person. I know they sound lovely, I think it's corny. I would rather say, feel what you want to feel. So if you want to feel that you've made it and you're successful and you're lying on beautiful sheets and a beautiful silk nightgown with a cashmere robe or whatever, I always think of, God, that movie Scandal or the series Scandal.
Oh yeah.
It had cashmere and silks on all the time with all her cut out. I was like, okay, I don't know how much this girl makes, but I want to have that wardrobe. And I started buying these items. I would lie there and imagine myself in these silks and cashmere and beautiful bags. I know it's materialistic. I know, I get it. Whatever. Guess what? Now I own cashmere and silk robes. Like it's just, feel it in the moment. If you want to feel love. Pretend that someone is giving you a massive bear hug and they've put a beautiful ring on your hand and you feel so safe and you feel so loved. You can create those feelings in your body in moments. I think so many people don't realize that you don't need the physical person in the space. You don't need the dream job. You just need to feel that you're in the dream job.
Yes, yes. And I love that. And I think everybody will have their own way of experiencing that throughout the year. I think those are really great examples. I really enjoyed doing the Future Me. That was something that really worked for me. I love Gabby Bernstein. I actually just last night signed up for her 21-day manifestation course on her thing. I'm going to promote her a little because I'd love her to come on my show at some point.
I've done it a couple times. I've done it.
Yeah. And I'm really excited to kind of step into it. And it's just 21 days of every day doing a little bit of manifesting. And I want to see a change in me. I tend to give up too early. I'll do like 10 days and then I'm like, okay, I'm bored. I'm going to 21 days.
It's hard to do homework as an adult, right?
I like homework.
Yeah. So that's why if you do have a day where you're on day 10, you're starting to slag, then do that visualization. Like see yourself completing the course. See yourself celebrating that you completed the course. I struggle with rules.
What?
Rules and guidelines. I hate them. I don't like it when someone's like, you have to follow this path or you have to follow this set of rules. I will walk the other way.
Yeah. You don't like being told what to do.
I hate it. It's because I had a very strict father and my rules were so strict my whole life.
Yeah.
And so when I broke free of that, even in my job, when there's rules, I always go around them.
You
If
do?
there's construction, I always find another route. Like I'm just that person. I'm like, no.
To impose rules on others? Or
No.
just others? No.
Never.
No.
I don't like to, I mean, obviously I'm very vocal.
Yeah.
But no, I try not to have judgment on others. If someone feels this is going to bring them happiness, all the best to them. As long as I see that it's not a destructive pattern. Like, we can't get into things like religion because obviously that's going to start down a rabbit hole. No, I'm super supportive. If someone finds a way for them to bring themselves joy and be in a better place, whatever, if it's the future self in you or the Gabrielle Bernstein 21 days, or it's just, you just feel for yourself. I just want people to know that they don't have to do these really long, drawn out processes to feel this feeling. That's why Gabrielle's words are so strong. Really, in 3 seconds can change your feeling.
Yes. It's moments. And I love that.
It's intrinsic. Like I think people think they need to be sitting at home, quiet, kids in bed, job not happening. Like you could be having the most chaotic time cooking, kids screaming, phone ringing, and you just zone out for a sec. And you let yourself feel however you want to feel.
Perfect. I love it. Well, we brought that full circle right back around with our 2025 resolutions. We sprinkled in some sex throughout there, which
might get edited out.
It's great. I love it. I'm not editing a bit. I love it.
Sorry, Dave. I'm not going to say his name.
I know. These poor guys, they should have never gone out with us if they had any idea what we'd say.
A medium-sized dick. By the way, it was a small dick, not a medium-sized.
How the hell are you going to go out with this guy again? You have said it's a small dick. The sex was not good. You didn't come from it. He forced you. Oh my God. Are we just banking on the good kissing at this point?
I'm thinking on 2025 miraculous being better than the last 4 years, but you never know.
Oh, that's always sad when the dick isn't worth the wait, isn't it? Oh.
I wanted to wait longer.
but see, maybe you should be happy you didn't because you got that out of the way. You're like
2025. Happy New Year's, buddy. To bigger everywhere.
Oh, I love it. Well, it has been a pleasure to have you back on the show as always. You bring you just bring it is all I'm going to say. And I love that. And you just take us down a different path than I have veered away a little bit from it throughout the season and gotten a little bit, more guests and talking about more deeper stuff and how people can get themselves to a good place. But I always love bringing it back to this because it's fun and it's good.
Talk about dating without talking about sex. They kind of go hand in hand.
One, it's real, and it's what people want to hear. It's the real stuff, and I have no problem talking about it. Obviously, you don't either. So we definitely have to have you come back and do a follow-up on what happened with this guy. If you were dating this guy,
go on the small deck again.
Yes. We should edit it, the dick to a deck, and then we'd be fine.
Climb up my small deck. I think we got a cocktail, but we haven't. So anyway, everyone, happy 2025. I can't even talk anymore.
She's got a big deck in her mouth. She's good. She's
oh. Happy New Year's to me.
Happy New Year's to you. Well, thank you once again for joining us, my wonderful friend. I love it. And to all you listeners out there, I hope you enjoyed this conversation and just roll with it. We are just being us, and I hope you love it as much as we do. You can find me on any major streaming platform. You can email me at info@FromMrsDemins.net. We'll see you guys next week. You have a great one. Happy New Year. Bye.